Bay, trendy playoff pick, trendy Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
Eagles reportedly are done with their supernatural funk that saw them lose 6 of their last 7, including the playoffs. Now, Brew, if they lose, this would be, and do the math, 7 of their last 8. So how bad would a loss be? Remember, you're the person that said they were in a supernatural funk and then said all of a sudden they were not in a supernatural funk.
And they're
a lot of pressure for you tonight.
Well, they're playing the eventual NFC champion.
Right.
So, I honestly think the answer to your question is it depends how they lose. All right, I think Green Bay is going to win.
Okay.
I'm picking them. That's my Super Bowl pick. But if they lose a close game and, the offense looks pretty good, I think they can withstand that. I know it'll be 7 of 8, but they can withstand that. If they get blown out and Jordan Love just picks them apart, then I think that's when Sirianni's in trouble. And then the following week, they got they got a winnable game. Oh, Atlanta actually, but still a very winnable game.
Yeah.
If that's when Sirianni's really in trouble. And if they lose to Atlanta as well, then his job is in trouble. But I think a close loss, Coach, they can withstand that and they can be all right.
So you think if they go 0-2, he could actually be whacked that early? Seems. I mean, I don't
know if it'll be
of the
that
last
early.
9.
I know it's a supernatural funk, but that's really early.
Well, that's the thing too. Are they listless in this game against Green Bay like they were last year for the last 6 games?
Well, I don't know.
That's
man. They are
something to
very
watch
bummed
too.
out about where the game's being
But
played.
there has been new video out, some enthusiasm.
Okay,
from
all right.
it.
I do agree with you in the sense that if they lose, it depends on how they lose, and things were so dysfunctional, and there was just lethargic and disinterested and all those negative adjectives that you can tie to the end of their season, uninspired. So if any traces of that come up in this game, or if the game does get out of hand, or not even out of hand, but let's say they're behind and you don't see the fight through the fourth quarter, that to me is indicative of a bigger problem, and it may not lead to him being fired after 2 games, but it's probably going to be something that eventually leads to it.
You guys are talking, I think, kind of more abstract things, which I think are smart. Here's my concern if I'm Philly today. So the Packers' big move this offseason was they changed out defensive coordinators. They bring in Jeff Hafley from Boston College. Evidently, he ran, listen, I'm not going to act like I watched a ton of Boston College, but everyone that's talked about it has explained, ran a lot of single high, very aggressive defense there, and that's what he's ran there. The word on the Eagles all offseason has been Jalen Hurts can't handle the blitz. That's what happened to him. They got figured out. They can't handle the blitz. So are the Packers just going to say, well, you lost 6 of 7 games in part because your defense was awful, but also in part because your offense got figured out. We're going to make you prove you have a counterpunch. And by the way, we're going to make you prove that either your young center or you, Jalen, can call out the protections. That's so I think Philly is one of the most overvalued teams by Vegas, the general public, and the media this year. No one has properly explained to me why the supernatural funk is over. No one has properly explained to me why the defense, which was bottom 5 across the board last year, is now going to be good. Like, do I think it's going to be bottom 5? No. But do I think it could improve to bottom 10? Yeah, I do. No one has explained to me how they are adequately replacing Jason Kelce. It's just like, they're the Eagles. Okay, we'll see. Now, the flip side is I think the Packers are a touch overvalued as well, so that's why this wasn't one of my picks. But I think the Eagles are in significant trouble on a lot of fronts, and if they play a bad football game today, they are under the most pressure of any team in the league this week to play well because of how last season.
But Nick, they did do a lot to address the secondary. They did bring in Vic, and Vic's impact isn't necessarily like Wade Phillips, where Wade the first year it's always this gigantic jump, but there should be a jump, and there was a lot of dysfunction in terms of who was calling the defense last year. Then they made a change midseason, so I think having someone like Vic in there to give them stability will be valuable. And on the offensive side, who knows whether the change at offensive coordinator is going to make a huge difference, but you'd like to think that makes some.
All right, Brew, quick question before we move on to the Cowboys. Xavier Worthy's debut, we're going to discuss this later. Up here, very impressive. Derrick Henry, kind of here. Where do you put Saquon's debut?
Oh, well, certainly better than Derrick Henry. Not, honestly, right in the middle. He's not going to do what Xavier Worthy did.
I would say CMC-esque. Right there.
Well,
CMC-esque. I was trying to tee you up.
Xavier Worthy had one outside run and caught it
But I
wide
think
open.
two of his three
Jeez, you didn't like it?
No, I like
All right,
it.
save
But
it. We got, that's coming up.
Xavier Worthy,
hold on,
where's-
save
two
it,
touchdowns.
save it.
I'm just saying, he
Get
won
his
the
gold
game.
jacket.
You brought up next segment's topic there. Should have been like, hey, Brew, what do you think?
Right,
of
he could have
Saquon
pointed.
tonight?
He could have pointed somewhere
right there.
Let's do Cowboys.
Cowboys. Tom Brady's debut in Cleveland.
I'm just mad because I have the same question.
Dak locked in, but also talking about a Super Bowl. Take a listen.
That's what motivates me on being here, honestly, is to be the quarterback that does it, that wins it. I don't think that winning at any other place would be the same as winning it here. And so that is number one and one to be here, to be honest with you.
Hello. He's going
begging
to
to
resign.
stay.
Oh, my goodness.
By the way,
Today.
Guys, it's not done.
I'm
yeah,
still
Brew's
saying
got
it.
it happening today.
I'm still saying it.
Wilds guarantees it happens
have it.
literally in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
This game kicks off in 47 hours and 55 minutes.
Can it happen? Might happen at halftime.
Oh, no. Well, okay. Well, that's.
That quote does
great.
not make you. A week ago, he was saying, "Psh, the owner's the
Okay.
crazy uncle at the barbecue. I don't listen to
Yeah,
him."
sometimes you have to
Now he's
leave.
like, I'm dying.
These
He's
guys
talked
think it's
about
gonna get-
being
hasn't
willing to
gotten
go
all
other
season. It's gonna get
places.
done today.
Right? He was talking about being
That's
willing to go
right.
play
Okay, that's
elsewhere.
fine.
Now he's like, I want to do it
respect your
here.
commitment to being wrong.
You
I
think-
respect it.
Do you think Jerry on Friday night, before the season starts, like, hey, let's get in the office and iron out this contract?
Yeah, they've had
You don't
it.
think
This
he's
is what he
You don't think he's
does.
heading out to dinner and maybe enjoying the start? You know,
This is what
But
they
can
do.
I want to do something else because I've heard a lot about how crippling the loss of Tony Pollard is going to be. I've heard a lot. And I heard a lot about how impactful the addition of Derrick Henry was going to be. So I have a question for Chris Broussard. 14 carries for 49 yards. That is what the Ravens running backs did yesterday. Do you think the Cowboys' miserable woe back room will outproduce the Ravens running back room in week 1? Because I do.
They should.
Oh, okay.
They should.
Okay. Because I
It's
think they're
week
going,
one, though.
Well,
This
it's
thing-
week,
this-
what do you mean?
I
It's week
I
1
like the
at
Ravens.
a great defense.
You gonna try to tell me you like the Cowboys running back room better than the Ravens?
Are the Cowboys going to throw the ball 51 times?
Thank
What
you.
I am asking, okay, let's just go on yards
mean-
per carry. The Ravens running back room gave you 3.4 yards per carry yesterday. The Cowboys running back room, with everybody laughing at Zeke, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, do you think they will have against the best defense at home in football last year, the Cleveland Browns?
That one I don't necessarily think is definitely gonna happen.
Right, but if you just had to pick a side,
but-
over or under?
Under.
Oh, under.
But I want to
3.4.
hear
Okay.
from you. Whose running back room is better?
No,
Ravens,
here's the thing.
Cowboys.
Obviously the Ravens running back room's better. Unfortunately, it's 2024, and the quality of your running back room rarely actually impacts winning. It's really about all the
I
different
wouldn't
things.
go
Like
that
that's just
far.
running the football is important. The quality of the running back room is
Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah,
Anybody?
he is the exception. He is the exception, and you know why? Because he also can be really good catching the football. So yeah.
Watch
So you
Saquon
are
get
surprised
busy.
Dallas was underdog?
Josh
I gave them as a
Jacobs,
pick, Wilds. Were you not listening?
Well,
Yes,
it's a new
presented by
audience every
DraftKings.
15 minutes.
Yeah, listen, I think Dallas is going to win. I think Brew thinks Dallas is going to win despite the running back room. Coach?
I don't think they're going to win.
I don't think they're gonna win.
No, I like the Browns.
Are you going to the game?
I think when we look at the Browns and the Cowboys, last year, no, I will not be there. Last year, the Cowboys found a way to underachieve at the end of it, and the Browns, throughout the course of the season, found a way to overachieve. And they lost Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson, he got hurt early and wasn't really performing well, and they still found a way to win 11 games and go to the playoffs. So you've got to give them some credit for that. And I don't think there's been massive overhaul in their talent, but I think there's been some positive additions there. And I think there's been a significant talent drain in Dallas that hasn't been replaced.
It's the NFL. We're not judging teams by one gets a JV standard. The Dallas Cowboys won 12 games last year, and it played poorly in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns won 11 games last year and played poorly in the first round of the playoffs. There is no world where you can say Cleveland had a better year than them. Now you can say
you don't think that Cleveland overachieved, losing Nick Chubb as early as they did, losing their starting core, and granted, I don't know.
They got better at quarterback because Deshaun was out.
Through that
What's
door.
that?
Joe Flacco is not walking through that door.
Losing Deshaun Watson was, I'm sorry, one of the best things that happened to the Browns last year.
Well, they were 5-1 with him, but it was
overachieving despite Deshaun Watson.
But okay, so I think that this game is very simple, which is the Cowboys' defense is still excellent. That Browns offense is not going to be able to move the ball at all through the air against Dallas. Deshaun Watson has not shown us he is even a top 20 NFL quarterback in 4 years. So I don't think the Cowboys' offense has to be great. I don't think Dak has to be great.
What do you think the Browns will end up scoring? Like, what range do you think?
I think this is 20-14. I think it's something like, yes, I do. I do not buy a Cleveland team led by Deshaun Watson. I don't think they do either, which is why they initially had 4 quarterbacks and signed Jameis Winston. I like Dallas.
F game on the board?
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to win, but it's on the board.
Is an A game on the board?
A bad loss will definitely be an F game.
A game against the Browns, not on the board.
How many yards rushing for Rico Dowdle for you to apologize to his friends and family on Monday?
Okay.
100.
100?
Yes.
Okay.
100?
If he goes for 100,
100 against the Browns?
to him. No, it's not going to happen, but that's what it would take.
All right, make sure we have all of our grades.